Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The annual Inspiring Women's Conference took place today at the Lloyd X, and our Abby St. John has more.
Every year, women from all over the community attend the Inspiring Women's Conference to learn more about empowerment and how to better themselves through the speakers and breakout sessions the conference offers.
Well, I think there's a lot of it that just fits with the overall theme of inspiration, really. And Ali Stone is our keynote this year, and she's actually going to be speaking on how women can change the world. So we think that's a fabulous topic for a group of mostly women we have in our audience today. And so that will be really inspirational, as I'm saying, and motivational and empowering for the women in the room.
I think that the conference is here, to help women to connect and to spend a day, focusing on themselves and being able to kind of create the environment where they can come and feel welcome and just spend some time together with personal and professional development.
The conference this year is their biggest one to date, something the organizers are really excited about.
Oh, excellent. We're over 300, which is our biggest conference ever. So it's also our 11th. So we've been doing it for a while, but we're just feeling so grateful for all the support we get in our community, from our families and our friends, and everybody that comes and just has a great day today. We have so much to offer in our community, we're often saying, and a ton of wisdom, knowledge, and resources, and we love bringing that together.
This year has been fabulous. It's a sellout. We have had to move a few more tables in to accommodate a few last-minute people, but it's been fabulous. Yes, all of the years have been very good. Last year was smaller with COVID, but this year is a really good turnout.
For Primetime Local News, I'm Abby St. John.
With the City of Lloydminster launching its first phase of the master plan for the Bud Miller All Seasons Park, it's requiring input from residents. This gives people the chance to voice their ideas and opinions for Park's development plan, and our Shelby Clark spoke with the Mayor Albers for more details.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Mayor Gerald Albers. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
It's my pleasure, Shelby. Thank you very much for reaching out.
Really happy to be able to have you on here because the City of Lloydminster is launching its first official phase of engagement for the Bud Miller All Seasons Park Master Plan. Now, let's just kind of start this off with what's all involved with this first phase that you are planning to do with the city and for Bud Miller Park.
So we're starting with a survey, which is open from January 30th until February 22nd to give people the opportunity to share their thoughts about Bud Miller. We're looking at the vision, where are we going to take Bud Miller, the current uses that are there, and how satisfaction feedback from the residents and the users of the park today.
Now, what exactly made the city want to start up this master plan? Is there some examples with the park that you're wanting to change that inspired this idea to want to hear from the residents?
I don't know if there was as much change as just making sure we're consistent with the long-term vision that people see of the park. When the park was established a number of years ago, things have changed a bit in the park. Things have been added. We've heard the pressures that having more people in the park take away from certain opportunities. Well, where people would like to see other things added, such as when we added the tennis courts for 2 more tennis courts to take it to 6 tennis courts. The question is how much green space balanced with the nature that's there, be able to watch the animals run through, such as the foxes and the fox den that's out in Bud Miller, and other animals that enjoy it, but also allow people to use it, enjoy it to the maximum efficiency, yet still maintain the beauty of the park and all the amenities that are there, as well as the natural appearance.
And with you speaking from the city, you may not know this yet, but are there any plans so far that will possibly change in the park with this master plan, alongside of hearing residents' opinions and ideas?
No, this is truly one of those that we want to hear from people from that perspective. We certainly have a consultant and they'll say, this is what we're seeing in other parks in urban settings. But I think Bud Miller is our own distinct park. We're very proud of it. It has an excellent reputation. We receive numerous kudos here at the city, myself and council members, about how well it's maintained, all the amenities that are there. before we do anything more to it, we want to make sure that people are if they're satisfied, then that's where we'll likely hopefully land at. If they'd like to see certain things change, we've seen different legislations change from urban parks and cities. So at a provincial level, we want to make sure that we're current, but we also want to make sure that that does not lose the touch and the feel that Bud Miller has for so many people and come away going, wow, that's the wow factor.
And would you be able to tell us what goal there is for the city for this master plan as a whole and when phase 2 might begin, or is that kind of still in the works?
Well, certainly that will depend on how many surveys we get back. And I just like to touch on that just a little bit. People are going to ask, how can I answer the survey? Your voice, lloydminster.ca /Bud Miller. It's online for those that want to complete it on a computer. But if people would like a paper copy, they don't have the access to the internet, or they're just not as tech savvy as they'd like to sit down and write, people can pick up paper copies here at City Hall, the Operations Center, and the Lloydminster Public Library all have paper copies. So complete it by February 22nd. Once the consultant brings that, takes those reports and input from the residents and people in the city, then they'll take it, bring it back to council with some suggestions, working through administration, and we'll get the chance to see it in a draft form, I suspect, long before it is completed. Then we'll take another look at it and see if we got enough information that we feel satisfied. And when will step 2 or phase 2 happen? After that report is released, then we'll have an idea of what needs to be done, as well as then there'll be a potential financial commitment. So that moves to a budget year. So I can't guarantee that it's going to get done completely in 2023, but I believe that is the plan, to have the report done in 2023, so that when we go into budget discussions for 2024, if there is some work to be done, that would start that process. But these reports take a little while to complete, yet we do not want it to simply sit on the shelf. It will be looked at by administration, be looked at by city council, and if it requires some capital and work that people feel that need to be done up, because I know the trail system, we have a great trail system. We often get comments about, can we do more with asphalt, and do we want to leave some in gravel, some as basically a bare trail? Those are all things that we'll see what come back from that report, and then we'll determine how much money we may need to look at in a budgetary fashion.
I'm sure lots of people here are going to be excited for the city to hear out their opinions and their ideas. And I'm super glad that the city is offering this. I think this is a great idea. Now, is there any more to add on this master plan that you want residents to know about?
Well, I think if you are a one-time user at the park once a year, you're a user each and every day, we encourage people to take the time to fill out that survey, because there's people that don't get to the park as often as they like. Maybe it's just for Canada, maybe it's the Fall Fest, whatever it is. But I would encourage everyone to take the time to fill it out. If you're a regular user, please let us know your thoughts. Take the time to fill out the survey questions and provide your input, because that is so critical. As members of council, we look to administration for information, and in this case, they're asking the public to provide that information. And the best people to comment on it are the users. Those that live around the park, we encourage them as well, because if there's activities that are positive in your world, we'd like to hear about it. If they're not as positive, we do want to hear about it, because it's important that we also realize there's the park, but those that live around the park and enjoy it as well. So there's multiple users, multiple groups. I hope that as many surveys come in as possible.
All right. Well, I'm really glad we're able to have you on here to help get the word out and hear about this. Really excited to see how this engagement and the first phase for the master plan goes. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Mayor Albers.
Thanks very much, Shelby. Have a great day.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had enough with this cold weather we've been having. So let's hand things over to our Shelby Clark, who's going to let us know if our luck will change this weekend.
Thank you so much, Reese. Yes, our luck is going to be changing this weekend. Yay! Yeah, nobody else is clapping. That's fine. Taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city, we are just sitting at -20 with that wind chill feeling around -35. So that extreme cold warning is in place. It will be going on through this evening as we are going to be dropping quite low for our evening temperature. We have been seeing a mixture of some sun and clouds throughout the day, although, so hopefully everybody is still enjoying it, although we, definitely feeling pretty cool outside, especially with that wind chill. So please make sure you are layering up and trying to stay inside as much as possible and just trying to stay warm. Switching over to our school day forecast for tomorrow, the kids are going to be starting off quite cool with around -17 in the morning. As they go throughout the day, we'll be seeing a little bit more sunshine peeking behind those clouds with around -12 to -7 degrees. So seeing that single digit as they go through the day, and by the time the day is out, even sitting at -2. So not too bad of a day tomorrow, I would say. I think we are definitely seeing that luck change. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, most spots sitting around -19 to -20 degrees. Looking at -21 for St. Paul and Bonnyville, while some spots are slightly warmer just by a few degrees. -14 over in Edmonton, while it's -17 there for Vegreville and down in Provost. But most spots are seeing between -15 to -20, so we are kind of looking at the same conditions as what we have been seeing for the past few days. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they're looking slightly cooler in some spots with those temperatures. Most spots around -22 to -23 degrees, so some are slightly cooler than what we are seeing on our Alberta side. -19 up in Pearson when we go a bit lower, seeing -18 in Macklin, so not looking too crazy warm on our Saskatchewan side either, as we all are definitely seeing some cooler conditions. North Battleford will be going down to a low of -25 for their evening low temperatures, so definitely seeing an extreme cold warning tonight. They will be seeing around a 25% chance of those flurries later on, but should be a pretty calm evening for North Battleford, so make sure you are plugging in those vehicles. Looking at tomorrow, definitely a switch up, -7 for their daytime highs, so seeing that single digit coming back in place and expecting a mixture of some sun and clouds, so kind of a beautiful day for North Battleford tomorrow. Cold Lake will be going out to low of -23 for the evening low, seeing some cloudier conditions throughout the evening and throughout the night, so cooling down but seeing a calm evening with those conditions. Then tomorrow, -3 for their daytime highs, so definitely a beautiful temperature. Not as cold, going to be cloudier in the morning, then throughout mid-afternoon they're going to be expecting to see some sun peeking behind those clouds. So beautiful Friday, I would say. For us here in the border city, we'll be going out to a low of -22, so cooling down a bit tonight, but not as cool as we have been seeing throughout the week. So I think we're getting a nice break for tonight. And as we look at our Friday, daytime high of -2. So Reese, you are right. Our luck is changing. We're getting scoop temperatures for our weekend. Hopefully everybody's excited because it's going to be a nice break from that extreme cold warning we have been seeing. Now ending off with some weather photo submissions. Thank you to everyone that have submitted to our Facebook page. You can continue to do so. I will use them throughout my weather segments and throughout the week. Beautiful one from Christine. Thank you so much. Absolutely love to see it. Thank you, Ryan, for this one. Nice shots. I'm so glad to see everybody could get outside and get some beautiful shots, even though we are feeling that cold chill and the wind chill. And thank you so much to Nadine for this one. Love seeing those colors in the sky. That's all I have for now. Hope more coming up after the break.
The Everything Equine on the Border event will be taking place once again from April 14th to 16th. With more on that, here's Thomas Wildman.
Today we have Jen McRobert, the representative of Everything Equine and the event administrator at the Lloyd X, and she is here today to talk to us about the Everything Equine event and some special announcements you guys had. And so thank you so much for being with us today, Jen.
Thanks for having me.
And so Jen, tell us a little bit about this very special guest that is coming to your second ever Everything Equine event.
Yeah, absolutely. So she is a world-renowned paraplegic barrel racer. Her name is Amberly Snyder. She has her own movie called Walk Ride Rodeo, and it's about her story on how she competed before her accident. Then she had her tragic accident that did leave her paralyzed from the waist down, and her recovery and how she got back to competing in rodeo, barrel racing, and getting back to as much normal as she possibly could.
And so tell me a little bit about what she's going to be doing at the Everything Equine event and a little bit about kind of what your guys' plans are for the weekend of the Everything Equine.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will have Amberly Snyder on the Saturday, which would be the 15th of April. She will be doing a mental prep talk on how she kind of gets geared up to start competing and her mindset before she goes into the show. And then on Saturday night, we'll be hosting a banquet, and she will be doing a keynote speak speaking session on her story from tragedy to triumph and everything in between. And then on Sunday, you will have an opportunity to do a meet and greet where you can get an autograph and a photo with her.
Okay, excellent. And then tell me a little bit about your guys' Trainers Challenge and the other things that you guys will be running throughout the weekend of Everything Equine as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So last year we had Cade Mills was our champion. He will be returning this year to defend his champion title for the Trainer Challenge, and then we also have 2 other trainers joining him. We haven't released their names quite yet, so we'll get on to that. Check on our website for any updates on that. And then we have 3 clinicians as well. We'll have a working cow horse, a working equitation, and then a youth 4-H horsemanship clinic as well, so we're very excited to have those. The very popular fashion show last year is also making a return this year, so we will be hosting that, I believe, on Friday at noon. And yeah, we'll have a dummy roping contest for kids this year as well. And yeah, it's going to be a great, great show.
And then last year you guys were looking for some horses to be able to be trained. Are you guys opening that up once again for people to, if they have a horse that you guys can use for those trainers challenges or any other? And about if people would like to be part of the more specific training aspects, how do they sign up for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we already have the horses selected for the trainer challenge. That's done through a private contract. If you would like to participate in the clinics with your horse, there will be applications opening here in the next week or so. All the details will be on our website, and keep an eye on our social media, because that's where we'll make our announcement when applications are open.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for all the information, Jen. That's going to be in April, Everything Equine. If you'd like to get your horse trained, be sure to look out for those applications coming up soon.
Now here are your agriculture prices for today. The Lakeland Rustlers men's volleyball team is looking to win in a back-to-back game against the Concordia Thunder this weekend. The team is coming off a loss to the King's University, where they met 2 times, splitting the weekend series.
Super tight. I mean, Kings is a great team. They're in the standings where they are because of that. And so after a loss, I mean, we were pretty happy with the split. We would have wanted both. But again, we're just back to fundamentals, making sure that we continue just to get better, tighten up on a few things. But as far as changing anything, like, we just got to stay the course and just continue to get better.
Despite spouting a higher record, the Rustlers' goal is to not be overconfident.
Our league's too good to take anyone for granted, and so we just because of their record and where they are in the standings doesn't mean we can kind of take a week off. So again, it's just a super intense week of training, making sure we're preparing ourselves to make sure we take care of our side of things, and then we watch a little bit of film and make sure that we're ready for what Concordia is going to bring.
The team only lost 1 game throughout the month of January. As we head into the break, let's take a look at your pet pictures. If you want to see your pet up on the screen here, make sure to comment your picture on our Facebook page.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
Today I'm super excited to be joined here with Shauna Weinkoff, who is a spiritual coach and energy worker. And she's going to be talking about a workshop that she has coming up on February 16th. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Can you start off by telling me a little bit about the Witch and Wine events that you host, and also highlight the shocker beaded wind chime one that you have coming up on February 16th?
Sure. So the Witch and Wine events are sort of a series of events. I hold them bi-weekly, roughly. So this, I've had a handful of ones that have happened already. So this upcoming one is on February 16th, which is a Thursday night, and we are making chakra beaded wind chimes. I guess it's more like a sun catcher than a wind chime because it won't really make noise, but chakras are energy centers in your body. Most people have heard something about chakras, but maybe don't know a lot about them. So they each pertain to a different energy center in your body. And when these energy centers become unbalanced or blocked, your energy feels off and it can call up in your body in different physical and emotional ways. So making these chakra bead wind chimes or sun catchers, having those in your space and the colors that represent each chakra helps bring in balance of energy for you in whatever area that you are hanging it in. So in the event, the women come and I guide them sort of with an idea of an inspiration of what they can create, but it is totally up to them on how they create it. And each one turns out so different. And then the beautiful thing, like you said, is connection and building community with other women in the community.
And how long have you been practicing as an energy worker and a spiritual guide?
I would say going on, well, pretty much my entire life. I've been doing a lot of the things, not so much the Reiki, but the intuitive and spiritual stuff without really realizing what it was. And then I went through a big sort of upheaval in my life with postpartum depression, and it sort of kickstarted my big self journey and discovering more about myself. And that's where I started learning more about Reiki and the different healing modalities and who I identify as and what that means, and then created a business from it.
So after all this self-discovery and life experience you have, is that why you wanted to bring an event like this to Lloydminster, because you know the power behind it?
Absolutely. I know for myself, before I started creating these events, it's hard as a mom and as a woman. There's not a whole lot to go out and do unless you go out for supper or a movie or you have a good friend group already. So I wanted to create a space for women to come and gather together, whether they came by themselves or with a friend, and they could meet new people. They could maybe explore some things that they maybe were interested in, but are a little bit outside of the normal box, and make it more mainstream and more comfortable and a safe space for women to explore these parts of themselves, because that was something that I wished I had, so I want to provide that for other women in the community.
So for anyone who may be wanting to get out of the house for a girls' night with maybe a friend or a family member or even themselves, where can they sign up for this workshop?
So there is a Facebook event. You can find that on my Gemini Soul Wellness Facebook page in the upcoming events section. And the event has all the information about it. It has a ticket link so they can go online and purchase their tickets. There are limited spaces, so there's only 6 spaces total, because I have a little bit of a smaller studio space, and so there's only 4 spaces remaining. So they tend to sell out fast, but if you go onto the Facebook event, you'll be able to find out all the information from there.
All right, Shauna, it was a pleasure talking with you and learning about this workshop you have coming up on February 16th. But that is all the time we have today, so thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm happy to be joined today on Primetime Local News by the boys from the Prairie Dogs. We have Dwight and Keith and Terry. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, we're going to get to some super exciting news right away, but first let's talk a little bit about the band itself. Can you just tell me a little bit about your music and how you guys got started?
Sure. So we got started originally playing in a cover band together. That's where we met, and found a real common interest in our music. We grew up in Southern Alberta, and we live in Southern Alberta, so we've had lots of exposure to country music. But all of us grew up with kind of playing blues and rock, and like every Canadian kid, the radio stations, what they played around here. So and then we just decided that we wanted to write our own music, so we quit that cover band, and in 2018 we started the Prairie Dogs. Then we actually ended up with a small record contract out of an independent label out of Florida in 2018, and they released some of our music and distributed it worldwide. So for instance, one of the songs, Don't Remember Last Night, still being played. We still get Shazams for it from all over the world, actually, even Indonesia. Oh, where else? Brazil. Yeah, lots of people like us in Brazil. We've never figured that out yet.
Let's talk about the really big news too, now that you guys have. I won't spoil it too much, so I'll let one of you take it and tell me about this next contract.
Right. Well, so we're working with actually probably you better.
Yeah, so we over the last couple of years, we got to know a fellow by the name of Ray Hamilton, who owns a company called Murph Publishing out in Nashville, and he was promoting our music down there and trying to sell some of our songs to other artists in Nashville. Sorry. And so he had mentioned that one of his customers, Eminent Music, was looking to start a new label called Blues Vox Records, and that we might be a good fit for that. And so we ended up talking with the president of Eminent over a couple of months, and ended up making a deal at the end of November. And it's a great opportunity for us because it's distributed by Sony, The Orchard, which you have to be invited to be on. So we're really honored to be on that, and it's distributed worldwide through them. And this label just lets us write Prairie Dogs music. We're not confined to any one genre, so it's going to be really exciting. And then our first song was actually released January 25th, so it should be just kind of getting around to all the streaming outlets now. And it's just in time for us to have a big summer, because
that's right.
We expect to have a full dance card for venues to play this summer.
So does this mean then that this is full time for all of you? I know that Terry, you had alluded to the fact that you have to do some actual work. So is it full time for all of you at this point, or is it going to be that way?
We're hoping it gets that way for sure. Yeah, we'd like to definitely play the bigger venues, and I think our next step in the music process is to do festivals and maybe open for bigger bands, so that we can get in front of tens of thousands of people.
Every one of us has a day job, so yeah, it'd be nice to do music full time for sure.
And as of now, are there any concerts or shows lined up at this point?
Well, we're playing here. Actually, we've got an opportunity to play locally, which doesn't happen too often. So here on February 4th, we're playing in Turner Valley at a club there at the Turner Valley Hotel, a place called Kickers. And then we've already started to book up. Like, we're actually one agreement away from having July totally sold out, and then about half our June and August booked. So that's our busy season. And so yeah, I actually, anybody can go to our website if they want to see where we're playing, because we list all the confirmed bookings on the website.
Well, and further to that, let's talk about where people can not only find your music, but more about you, just some information, and kind of where's the most concise place to find everything, I guess, about the Prairie Dogs?
Probably the website, yeah. So you'd go to www.the so THE Prairie Dogs with a Z.com, and you will see everything about us, pictures, bios, all that kind of stuff, and also videos, our music. You can buy the music there, download it, whatever you need to do.
But our music will be on every streaming site worldwide, and that's one of the benefits of being with Sony too, is they have the most distribution.
Right. So we do actually have about 25 songs. We took them off the streaming outlets when we signed up with them, because we wanted to make sure that we weren't stepping on any toes. And now we're going to be uploading all those again. So that'll be super exciting too.
Yep.
So
yeah. So $40 was just released January 25th, and the next song we expect they tell us it'll be out in about a month. So they'll stagger the release of 5 songs that they picked, and then we're always writing. So we've got another batch of music to send to them to start working on. So it's just going exactly how we'd hoped. I mean,
yeah, better than what we hoped. So that's great. Yeah, we're very grateful for the attention, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for chatting with me today. I'm excited to see where this is all going to go. So please keep in touch. And once again, everybody can just head to your website if they want more information. So good luck, guys. And I know we'll be seeing you at some pretty big venues soon.
Yeah, we hope to see everybody this summer. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. You bet.
Taking a quick look at your 7-day forecast. Be prepared for a warmer day tomorrow with -2, 0 on the weekend, and that -1 on Sunday. So be prepared for a beautiful weekend. We will be expecting some snowfall. Then heading into next week, we'll be continuing that warm streak with 2 degrees even next Tuesday, and only seeing those single digits next week.
All right, that is all the time we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.